Good evening, and welcome to the Just Be Different web series broadcast. I'm Janae, and I'm so excited and delighted to be invited into your time tonight as we continue to encourage and to uplift people from all walks of life to be different in every aspect of life. Uh, if this is your first time watching, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight. If you are an avid watcher, avid listener, thank you so much for joining us as well. I do not take it lightly that you take the time out to watch, and so I am very thankful. Please know that I am thankful, thankful, thankful. Continue to watch. If you haven't already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Add me as a friend on Facebook. I will put my information below the video so that you can kindly follow me on all social media outlets. In the last time we met, we were speaking on church community, uh, talking about some of the things that we can change in our church communities and in the atmosphere of our church communities. I got so many comments, positive feedback on our episode from last time, and so I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you so much for that. Um, Tonight's episode, I was going to continue our discussion on the church community, but I've been led to talk about something else. And it's something that's really close to my heart. People don't necessarily deal with it as they should. But tonight, I want to talk about losses and grief, how to handle your losses, um, how to grieve properly. Yeah, I want to talk about that. Um, the one thing that we all know is that life is uncertain. Life is uncertain. We do not know the ways that we're going to take in this life. We're not born knowing the whole outline um, of our lives. We don't know when we're born what we're going to become, what we're going to be like, what our mannerisms will be like, what car we're going to drive, what house we're going to have, what our financial situation is going to look like. Um, we feel our way through life, but there's one thing that is very certain. That is one thing that is very certain. We may not have known it the day we were born, but it was certain that from the day we were born, that there would be a day that we all would die. And uh, that's not it's not the best feeling in the world to have, to sometimes sit and think to yourself like, wow, one day I'm going to die. Yes, nobody wants to think about that. But the fact is, we are mortal. We are not immortal beings. We are mortal. And because we are human, we will die. Uh, yeah. I know when I first encountered, um, or let me not say encounter, when I had my first epiphany of death, I was like, oh wow, one day I'm gonna die. It scared me. It scared me so much because it's like, I guess a fear of the unknown. Like, what happens after you die? And me personally, I believe that there is life after death. I do believe that there is an eternity um, after I close my eyes and die. And I believe that there is a heaven, and I believe that there is a hell, and I believe that I have to live right in order for me to enjoy my eternity. Because if I don't live right and I don't do right by my neighbors, if I don't do right by those who love me, if I don't love everybody, if I don't love my neighbor as myself, if I don't go according to the guidelines of what I believe in, then my eternity won't be so great. My eternity will be in hell. Not a good place. Um, so my first epiphany when it came to that really scared me. Second time that I really sat and thought about, wow, thought about my mortality was when my daughter was born. And I didn't just think about my mortality, I thought about hers. Um, the saying goes, you ought to cry when they are born, and you ought to rejoice when they die. Um, I believe in that. I believe in that. And people may be like, why? You're supposed to be happy when someone comes into the world. But do understand that when a person comes into the world, they are coming into a very cruel world. They are coming into a very unfair world. They are coming into a world where they will have to work uh, by the sweat of their brow just to make ends meet. Now, not everybody has to do that, but the majority of us do. And the majority of us do. And it sucks. You go to school for half your life. You work half your life. You try your best, to make the most decent living possible for you and your family. You retire. You maybe enjoy 10 years of retirement. If that, you close your eyes and you die. And to be quite frank, not all of us are that lucky. Not all of us are that lucky. You have people who are dying at 20 and 30 years old. How fair is that? And it's crazy because you often question God. I know I do. Why? Why does it have to be this way? Why did they have to go like that? Why? It's crazy. It's crazy how we never get used to death, how we never get accustomed to death. It happens around us all the time, and it just seems like every time it happens, we are still affected in some way. Because let the truth be told, the human being's mind can never can never ever really truly wrap around the concept of death. It's just something we're never going to get used to. You know, something you're never going to get used to. This month is dedicated, the month of October is dedicated to breast cancer awareness and domestic violence awareness. So many people have lost their lives to breast cancer and to situations involving domestic violence. I lost my mother to breast cancer 5 years ago. On Saturday, I'll be celebrating my father's second anniversary the second anniversary of my father's death. On Sunday, not on Saturday, on Sunday, I will be celebrating the second anniversary of my father's death. And he didn't die of breast cancer, but he died of cancer. And to this day, can't really get over it. You can't really I can't really wrap my mind around the fact that God would take both of my parents from me at such a young age. Am I complaining? No. Am I throwing myself a pity party? No. But these are the questions that I ask myself. Maybe not on a daily basis, but quite often. And I'm pretty sure everyone has come to grips or has had to deal with the death that they're like, wow, I don't know how to deal with this. Because I don't see the logic. Why? I'm not understanding. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot wrap my mind around the idea of, oh, one day the people that mean the most to me are no longer going to exist. They will cease to exist. We will lay them in the ground. And the only thing that I will have left to remember them by is a headstone and some grass and fond memories and pictures. That is something you really cannot wrap your head around, or you can never really get comfortable with. You can never be comfortable, and I was having a conversation with a friend of mine tonight, And he really inspired me to talk about this because it's not talked about. Death is real. Like, okay, um, friend of mine, he lives in Chicago. His name is Neiman. And, you know, I just asked him, like, are you okay? He was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, are you really okay? And just so happens that he had to eulogize one of his good friends today, who I think she was 21 years old. Her name is Ashley. Um, she was 21 years old and died in an ATV accident. Like, somebody so young. And then I'm pretty sure it hit him so close to home because he's not that far removed in age from her. Like, and so to think that, and I mean, not only they were friends, they were friends. They like, it's just things happen, and like, you just don't understand why. You don't understand why. Like, on the flip side of that, last year I had a friend of mine went to high school with, Jennifer. And, as far as I knew, she was, I've known her for quite a number of years. Amazing, amazing young lady. She was always smiling wherever she went. Always, I mean, just always happy, bubbly, cheerful. And one day, I come home from church. This is, I think, November, like not too far after Thanksgiving. I come home from church, and I find and I go on Instagram and I see, oh, R.I.P. Jennifer. What? To this day, I really don't know how she was taken away from us. And it hurts me because she was 21 years old, a junior in college, had her whole life ahead of her. And I am not that far removed from her. My friend who's dealing with this pain today and we're only a year apart. A year and like days apart. Because our birthday just so happens to be in the same month. What do you do? How do you really come to grips with that? Now let me tell you, I'm not when it comes to stuff like this, grief and loss and things like that. I know the last thing people want to hear is, oh, anything about God, but let me reassure you of the fact that God is a keeper. He is a sustainer. Trust me when I tell you, because if it was not for God, I would probably be in the G building at Kings County. And for those of y'all who don't live in Brooklyn or in New York for that matter, the G building at Kings County is the crazy house, the psych ward, where they put a straight jacket on you and sit you in a padded room. If it wasn't for the Lord, I would be in the G building. I'm telling you, I would be. I would be in the G building. And no shade to anybody who doesn't believe in God or whatever. But let me tell you something. He will keep you in perfect peace. Bible says, I will keep you in perfect peace if your mind is stayed on me. Let me tell you something. Sometimes I really feel as though God has kept me in perfect peace even when my mind was not stayed on him. Okay? Even when my mind wasn't stayed on him. Even when my mind wasn't stayed on him. He kept me. He sustained me. He let me know that everything was going to be all right. Like, I grew up in a church, and everything, where some of the famous lines would be, he will be a mother to the motherless. He'll be a father to the fatherless. He'll be bread when you're hungry. He'll be water when you're thirsty. Let me explain something to you. A mother to the motherless and a father to the fatherless is what God has truly been to me. And that comforts me. And I mean, I guess everybody has their way of being comforted, you know, some people eat. I know when my mom died, I didn't eat. But when my dad died, I ate like a hog. Like, people deal with death in different ways. People deal with their emotions. People deal with depression. People deal with anxiety from these situations in different ways. They do. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, even with everything else, even with all these other outlets that I use to deal with my grief and my loss, I took it to God and He handled it. And so, like, sometimes when we want to question God and be like, why? Why did you do this? You know, we understand that it is His will. His will is perfect. He makes no mistakes because He is just. Like, at the end of the day, we do want to ask questions, but sometimes we just have to sit back and say, you know what, God, I don't understand it, but I'm going to watch you work it out. Like, and even whatever hurt and pain that I'm dealing with, I'm gonna see to it that you work that out for me too. Like, it just really, I don't know. I guess when my friend was telling me about how he really felt, because listen, not only was this his friend, you know, for a number of years or whatever the case may be, not only did she die tragically and it shocked everyone that, you know, knew her and lived in the area that she lived in, you know, he had to stand behind the sacred desk and eulogize his friend. It's bad enough that you're grieving and you don't understand why God would do something like this. But then you have to turn around and assure the family that, yeah, I don't know why God did what He did, but He's a man that doesn't make mistakes. And I'm here as God's ambassador to encourage you, to uplift you, to inspire you in your time of loss. Really? That is one of the hardest things to do. Whether it be that you have to eulogize a friend, a family member, a whoever. Like, it's hard. When you are connected to someone in any type of way and you have to eulogize them, it is not easy. And it can take an additional emotional strain on you. It could take an additional toll on you. It's bad enough that you have to be at the funeral for the person. But then when you have to participate, when you have to be the one that's saying, you know what, I'm hurting in my heart, but at the end of the day, God is going to keep you. He's going to see you through. Just know this is only a test. You know, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. Let me tell you, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing. I'm a witness. It's not easy. Because I've had to do it before. It's not easy. And we really take this life for granted. We take it for granted. We take it for granted. Like, you know, since we're on the subject of losses and things, yo, if you have any ought with anybody, whether it be your mom, your dad, any family member, any friend, any associate, any whoever, you need to sit there. You need to call them, arrange to meet with them, something, and you need to talk to them. Settle it. Settle it. Because you never know if today will be the last day that you will have the opportunity to do that. You know, there's been so much going on, so many deaths going on. Like, at my church, no shade, I go to the greatest church in America, but we have been experiencing death back to back to back to back to back. I think we've had something around the number of 8 deaths this year, and in this month, last month, three of our members died back to back to back. 2 of their funerals were in the same week. One of them, their funeral is tomorrow. Like, and it's like it's just a toll. It's a toll. And let's say that, you know, anybody in my church may have known these people and didn't get it right with them. You can't get it right with them now because they are dead. Like, they have closed their eyes to open them no more. And the opportunity that you had to make it right with them no longer exists. So I am urging you, I am pleading with you. If you know somebody that you have, if you know that you have an ought with somebody, if you know that you gotta make things right with somebody, do it and do it now, because tomorrow's not promised. The next minute isn't promised. The next second isn't promised. Nothing is promised but right now. So if you have the opportunity to right now, call them, talk to them, meet up with them, talk to them, squash the beef because you want to know something, if you turn around and lay your head on your pillow tonight and you wake up in eternity, it's over. Over. God isn't just calling the old, he's calling the young, the middle aged, the everybody from little babies on up. He's calling all of us. We all have to answer the call one day to die. We do. I mean, and it's sad that I hate talking about it. Trust me, it's not like I'm so gung ho and happy to talk about this subject. But we fail to realize just how precious and how short life really is. It's so short. It's so short. And to be quite honest, not only do you need to take the opportunity while you have the chance right now to make amends with whoever you need to make amends with, but this is a serious appeal. You need to take the opportunity right now while you have the chance to give your life to God. I would be remiss if I sat here and spoke about death, grief, and loss and not pointed you to the person who can help you not only with that not only with that death, that grief, and that loss, but who can give you new life after that. After this life here on earth, there is more to come. Try Jesus, I'm telling you. Make Jesus your personal Lord and Savior so that when you close your eyes to open them no more, that you have a place. That you have a place with him for all eternity. Listen, I'm not ashamed. If you want to know more about Jesus, you can hit me in my inbox. Like I said, I will comment under this video with all my information for social media. If you want to get to know Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior, I will be glad to tell you about him. I will be glad to tell you about him. Because he's the same God that picked me up and turned me around. He's the same person that saved me, that picked me up out of the muck and the miry clay and set my feet on a rock to stay. Let me tell you something. I will personally introduce you to this God that I know and that I love. Because he can save you from the guttermost to the uttermost. He can, I'm telling you. Oh God, I'm telling you. He is a life changer. He's a life changer, let me tell you. There's a song. I'm not going to sing it. But the words are so profound. You thought I was worth saving. That you came and changed my life. You thought I was worth keeping. So you cleaned me up inside. You thought I was to die for. So you sacrificed your life so I can be free. So I can be whole. So I can tell everyone I know. And let me tell you, he thought that much of me. And because he thought that much of me, I am obligated to share that same love that he showed me to you. I have to share that love with you. If you want to know more about this God I serve, trust me. Inbox me on Facebook, DM me on Instagram or Twitter. I will be glad to. Because when it comes down to it, there is life after this. There is life after this. And I wish for none to be lost. I wish for none to be lost. Wow. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you, Des. We have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. Life is short. Life is precious. And while you have the chance, live your life to the fullest. Be different in every area of your life. So that when you do close your eyes, never to open them again, that you have left a legacy, that you have left a footprint, that you have left a mark on this earth that can't be erased. Wow. It's really something to think about. Life is so precious and short. Make an impact. Be the change you wish to see. Be the change. Be the change you wish to see. Be that change. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's broadcast of Just Be Different. Hopefully, something was said because I know I'm encouraged, but hopefully, something was said that will encourage you, uplift you, and inspire you to be different in every aspect of your life. Love you all. God bless.